All right, good afternoon, Keller Williams.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. How is my lighting? Am I lit up enough there? I've got a little backlighting because I'm in your beautiful Green Hills office, and they went ahead and set me up with a cool corner office, lots of windows, and as beautiful as it is, it may give me an interesting glare, and I want to have my good side on here for you guys. So.
You got that Oprah lighting, Rob.
Okay, good. I got that soft Oprah lighting. We're good. All right, how's everybody doing?
All right.
Tell me something good while we're getting this going and letting everybody on, because I know they're on realtor time, right? I'd be highly disappointed if Nashville realtors were any different than the rest of the country as they come pouring on a couple minutes late. So tell me something good.
My kids have a 3-day weekend, so no school tomorrow.
Woo! Thanks, Marissa. What else?
Oh, Jamie. Go ahead, Jamie. No.
Tell me something good. Who's got a voice? This is Nashville. All right, now we got to do two more. Just because there's radio silence, I need two more. Tell me something good.
I can go.
Yes, please.
I have a closing coming up next week that I've been waiting on since November.
Wow.
The new construction is finally getting completed.
Yay, Lucy. Congrats.
These poor builders.
It's been a long time coming.
They work like Tasmanian devils. They kick butt, but man, between the rain and these ice storms and lumber costs and China embargoes, these poor guys have had their hands tied with getting these homes built.
Yeah, I almost didn't want to say it out loud, but hopefully it will happen next week.
That's right. Yeah. Speak it into existence. I love it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And then we're going to get going. One more.
I'll go. Mine trumps that. I had a closing today for new construction that's been under contract since September.
Nice. New construction. There's a theme going here as I have a home in Nolensville, and yeah, new construction's kind of a thing, right? As I go on to different websites and look at homes for sale in all the suburbs of Nashville, it seems like I don't see many new listings coming up, or at least staying on there, other than new home builders. I mean, anything that is resale seems to just instantly pop off the market. Like a lot of these big markets, things are selling quick. So thank God for new home construction. Okay, so here's what I got today. My understanding is we got now 55 minutes left, and we're gonna share some high energy and some big thinking around the 9-point wealth building plan to go from anywhere to millionaire. Right? We got 55 minutes. Are we right on that, Tracy? I'm gonna pick you because you're popping up on my window.
Yes, you're right on that. 55 minutes.
All right, so here's how this goes. I have developed exactly 10 minutes worth of material for me to share with you. Okay, we're gonna share this material in 55 minutes because I fully expect that this is gonna be a conversation, that this is gonna be a mastermind, that this is gonna be something that impacts you in a way so much so that you feel just completely compelled to raise your hand and say, tell me more. Tell me more, right? Okay, so here's what we got to do. We're not in person. There will be a day very soon, and I look forward to it, where we can get back and we can literally just bump elbows and do these kinds of masterminds and networking in person. And right now, we're still blessed with the technology that we can get onto Zoom, and I can be here in the market center and just feel the energy of you guys without necessarily having to be in person. But the advantage of those classroom type environments is a couple of things. Number one is we really just get a better experience for each other's just transferring of energy, right? Energy is not created or destroyed, it only transfers. And if we could all get in a room together and we could be having these kind of conversations around something as exciting and energy filled as wealth building, you can imagine how much we would leave that room so pumped up. There would be bondings that would happen, right? Hugs and tears and all those things. And we'd be so empowered and inspired that we would go out and make millions of dollars in our lives. However, right now we've got a little bit of a barrier in these computer screens. And so what I'm going to count on you guys to do is a couple of things. Number one is I want you to share your ahas. Okay, I want you guys to share your takeaways and to ask your questions. And this is critical for two reasons. The first one is selfish for me. The first one's selfish. And that lets me know that you haven't muted me out. You're not on Facebook. You're not doing something else. And that coming here and sharing these with you, there's just some type of validation for me as a needy human being that says you're getting something from this, right? So I love that. I love to hear that you guys are getting something, that something's landing for you, and that we can have a further conversation around it. However, there's a second reason of why I want you guys and why I'm calling on you to share your ahas and to share your questions. And the second reason is it's a neuro-linguistics programming reason. It's a cognitive retention reason, okay? And I want you to appreciate for a second that in this world, in this life, we are a soul and we have a body, which means that we have this mind and this brain. And I won't get into the weeds with that. That'll be another class for another day. However, you can literally write your own programming by the way that you talk to yourself. And your brain is like an operating system. It's like a computer. And when I hit enter on my computer or F1, my computer is very literal. It doesn't know that I meant to hit F2. It just does what F1 is supposed to do. It's literal. It's a processing. Your brain, not your mind, but your brain is much the same way. And when we tell our brain something, it's very literal and it locks it away. And when we tell our brain something's important, it deems it more important. This is why it's so critical that when we hear like our children or people we love, if we hear those negative incantations where it's like, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so ugly, I can't believe I said that, we have to interrupt that immediately because we know that our brain is listening. Our cells, as Anna Kokoska would say in her bold law, our cells eavesdrop on our thoughts, okay? So when you declare something, you guys have heard the old adage, you're 77% more likely to accomplish something when you write it down. You're 77% more likely to accomplish a goal or to retain that goal, to stay focused on it when you just simply write that goal down and take that piece of paper, crumble it up and throw it in the trash can. Just the fact that you went through cognitively firing brain cells in a different way and writing it down, your brain goes, oh, she's writing this down right now. This must be important, okay? Now that's 77% more likely to accomplish your goal. You are 252%, I think is what it is, 257%. I don't know the exact number, but I know for sure 77% on the written, when you publicly declare something. So that means if I turned to you and said, you guys, the COVID-19 is real, and I need to, lose 19 pounds by July 4th, and I claim that in front of a group, I'm over 200% more likely to accomplish that because I made a declaration. And public declarations, your brain deems more important. So when we raise our hand in a group and we say, Rob, this is what I learned. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I have questions about. Your brain literally deems that information more important than even what you write down. So I'm going to encourage you to write some things down, and I'm going to encourage you to answer or to ask your questions, to have ahas. And then at the end of this, I'm going to give you my contact information. I've got some really cool tools to share with you. And I'm going to invite you guys to even reach out to myself or anyone on your leadership team to get further questions answered. Sound good? All right. So
Sounds great.
great.
Ready to go. Hey, yes.
You guys, I love her energy. I was on a mastermind with you before and I said, this is my kind of girl. I like this energy. And it was the first time we met. We met right in that classroom and we were already going. I love it.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
right.
Rob, we believe we can bring a lot of energy. We've practiced this Zoom thing for a year. We've got a lot of
Good.
folks who show up at a really high level, so I know they're going to turn their cameras on
Oh, I
and
love it.
participate at a
love
high
it.
level. They don't have to be in the room. They're ready to go. They've got questions, and they're here to learn about investing. I
All right.
just know it. I
I love it.
see
Tabby,
them
would you
coming
do me
on
the
right
biggest
now.
favor?
Uh-huh.
Would you for me, because I'm looking at my notes and I'm going to be talking because I have a lot to say. I love hearing my own voice. And so sometimes I don't pay attention to the chat. Can you
Yep.
just keep an eye on that chat in
Yep.
case someone raises their hand, and that way there's an engagement. And I trust that you will get my attention if I am not paying attention, right?
Yes, I for sure
Thank
will
you.
do that.
I appreciate that.
Happy to do that.
Okay, so my name's Rob Talbot. For those of you guys that didn't read the email that went out, my name's Rob Talbot. I am a MAPS leadership coach with Keller Williams International. I coach leadership across the United States and the world. I do coach in other countries as well. Thank goodness the rest of the world has gone out of their way to learn English, because my Portugal clients and different places in Europe, their English is great and we can have great conversations. And so I coach them on leadership. I coach regional directors, operating principals, team leaders, specifically around how to run market centers, how to influence the market centers, their businesses, and the leaders, the ALCs within those market centers. So that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. I'm also an operating principal of 5 different offices, 5 different locations in Southern California. I do have a home here in Nashville, and I've been looking forward to just meeting people and getting to know them more as I'm spending more and more time out here in the Nashville area. So that's what today is all about. Is I've been reaching out to your leadership team, say, hey, how can I be of service to your market center? How can I just contribute to a place that I really have grown to love? And so they asked me to come on and give a little presentation around some 9 talking points of wealth building. And so that's why we're here today. I do also, I think it's worth notating, and I don't say this to brag or boast, but I just say it to emphasize that I understand where you guys are at in many, not all of you, because you've superseded my accomplishments in some ways. But I do have a production team, and I'm very leveraged in that production team. I don't want to call it a 7th level team, because when I hear 7th level, I think of some of these extreme high producers in our company. But what I will tell you is I've learned to run a business called selling homes with a team. I don't go on listing appointments. I don't go on buyer appointments. I operate like an operating principal. I run a business. And we have a good amount of sales. We're in triple-digit sales for the year, which, in Southern California is pretty good because we have some good price points out there. And so I can just let you guys know that I've been an individual agent. And when I first started in real estate about 15, 16 years ago, before that I owned a nightclub and some clothing companies, and I've got a whole story that I'll share as we all get together in person. Lots of fun. But I remember getting into real estate, and my first week, my first day, I called it the now what? Like, now what? What do I do? Now what? I thought I had this license. Someone's going to give me a business plan. And so I can appreciate, for those of you that maybe are in the opening chapters of your career, that it might sometimes be a little overwhelming. And people like myself, people like Tabby, people like Sarah, let me assure you, if you're feeling that right now, I know for a fact that your leadership team, myself included, we wake up every single day with a singular focus on how to help you make more money, how to help you grow a business. So if you hear anything today, whether you're brand new or someone on the cusp of really being, a rock star and someone we're putting on stage to learn from, just know that we're here to support you and answer those questions. Sound good?
Sounds great, Rob.
Yes, lots of
All right,
head
Sarah,
nodding.
she's on too.
There you
Good.
go.
I just voluntold Sarah and Tabby to be your resources, so I love it. They just jumped right in. That's leadership, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's get going here. We got, like I said, I've got 10 minutes worth of material. If I was to just tell you what it is that we're going to talk about, 9 points in 10 minutes. However, I trust that we're going to have a 45-minute conversation going forward, because there's going to be some questions. We're going to elaborate. We're going to get in deep.
Yep.
Well, let's just start off. If you guys have a piece of paper or something that you're able to jot some notes down on, I would encourage you right now to pull those out moving forward, whether it's a piece of paper or your iPhone or your Note 10 or whatever it is that you keep ideas on. Okay. So first things first, okay? As a coach, I want you guys to understand that I am here today in 45 minutes to teach you everything that you could ever know about building wealth. That you will be able to accomplish every number, every fantasy, every goal that you have ever wanted to accomplish in 45 minutes. You guys are going to learn it all. So if anyone's on this call that says, I'm just so scared because I don't know enough, today's the day you learn everything. There will be nothing left for you to question. Does that sound good?
Oh, I love it. I like Cliff Notes, Rob. I'm here for it.
All right, guess what? April Fools. Fools, you guys.
I love it.
Let me tell you, if you thought you were going to get on this call and learn everything that you were ever going to know to take the leap, to start investing, build wealth for your life and all those great things, 140-minute call with Warren Buffett would probably not do that. Here's what I'm here to do, though. We're going to have some great conversations. I'm here to plant a seed. I'm here with the intention to challenge the way that you think. And my goal for today with that intention is to plant a seed, to plant an idea that makes you question, how is it that I can learn more? How is it that I can get better at this? Who is it that can help me do this? You guys, if in 45 minutes I could plant the seed, the thought in your head, the programming that had you question, how is it I can get better every single day? And you held on to that, you guys, the rest of it will work the way out. It'll work its way out. That's the domino right there, is interrupt the way that we're thinking. We've got a drunk monkey that tells us something that's held us back. We don't know enough. We haven't been around enough. We don't have enough money, all those things, okay? I'm here to tell you it all starts with the way that you think. God gave us the power over one thing. He gave us one thing that we can control in this world, you guys, and it's called free will. What your choices are. Okay, so that's our intention for today, is that in 45 minutes, I'm here to challenge the way that you think. And a good coach, as Gary Keller would say it, a good coach teaches you how to think so you can get what you want. Does that sound good? All right, Monica McCain, does that sound good?
That sounds awesome.
I love it. Thank you for participating, Monica. It makes me feel good. All right, for those of you who got your pen and pad out, I want you to write something down. We're going to make a few distinctions here. We're going to give you a couple of tools, because if we're going to build this empire, we need a few tools in our tool belt. Okay, I gave you one of them, and the first one was the way that we think. The way we think is the access. It's the largest domino. Challenge the way to think. When that little devil on your shoulder whispers that you're ugly, that you're stupid, here's the tool I'm going to give you. The tool is when you hear that thought, you can't stop that thought from coming in. What you can stop is what and how long you keep that conversation going. So here's the tool. That's one way to look at it. What's another way? Sarah pulls me aside and tells me, Rob, that was such a horrible class. I can't believe I gave you an audience with our market center. That was the worst class we've ever had. I'm like, oh, I know, it was so bad. I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I'll never teach again. Or I can say, well, that's one way to look at it. What's another way? Maybe Sarah's having a bad day. Maybe the devil on my shoulder is trying to bring me down. God gave me the power of free will, of my choice. Your tool is to challenge the way that you're even thinking with yourself. Thinking in possibilities, you guys. That's one way to look at it. What's another way to look at it? And if you look at your way of thinking and you realize that that way of thinking is serving you well, maybe you have a delusion, maybe you have a hallucination that says that you are powerful, that you are smart, that you are beautiful, that you are strong. You have a hallucination that those things are true. I want you to keep them. Who cares? If it empowers you and it serves you, you're going to keep that. And if that same way of thinking, if you say, what's another way to look at it, and you realize that that way of thinking is not serving you, then you're going to ask yourself that, what's another way to look at that? What's another way to look at that? This is a tool, you guys, that will help you when the little devil on our shoulder tells us that we can't do it. I can't believe you're thinking that you can build a life by design. I can't believe that you think you're going to build a legacy worth leaving. Well, that's one way to look at it. What's another way? Someone mentioned my nice Oprah lighting over here, right? And we're down here in the South, and I believe Oprah is from somewhere like Alabama, Mississippi, right? I'm not quite sure where it is, but I know it's from
East
not a-
Nashville. I believe East Nashville, right?
Yeah, here's the thing. Oprah's pretty successful. She lives in
Hi. Good one. Thank you so much.
Hey, Lucy, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry, I'm picking up my lunch. I'm muting.
We love you, Lucy. Thank you for participating. I just didn't know if that was for me. All right, I'm going to give you another tool. You guys write this down because we need tools in our tool belt in order to build this empire. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple more tools. This is a hammer. Now I'm giving you a saw. Okay, I want you to write this down. We're talking about the little devil and angel on our shoulder. We all remember the little cartoons, right? This is real. This is how the world works. Abundant mindset versus scarcity mindset. Okay? The abundant mindset versus scarcity mindset. Now, how many of you guys, and this can be rhetorical, but how many of you guys have heard those yin and yangs, right? The black and white, like, of life. Now, I'm going to describe to you two types of mindset that we can have as human beings, and I want you to think which one you are. The first one is called an abundant mindset. And an abundant mindset, write this down because this is such a great tool for you guys to keep and use in your life. An abundant mindset is when we choose to focus on the solutions to our problem. When we choose to focus on the solutions to our problem. What I didn't say is that we're so optimistic we think we don't have problems. I didn't say that. What I didn't say is that because we have a way of thinking, all our problems are solved and we have superhero powers. I didn't say that. And I didn't say that now our problems get easy. I didn't say that. What I said is an abundant mindset is when we choose, it's a choice, when we choose to focus on the solutions to our problem. Now, conversely, a scarcity mindset. A scarcity mindset is when we choose to focus on the problems to our solution. You guys all know that person, right? They got a problem for every solution. Here's how we can do this. Well, what if we did this? Yeah, but, right? They've got a problem for every solution. That's a scarcity mindset. When you choose to focus on the problems to your solution. Now, just quick, I want 2 or 3 people. Which one do you think you are? Which one are you? Are you the abundant mindset or are you the scarcity mindset?
Abundant, definitely.
Jennifer's abundant, love it.
Like
Aaron's
sometimes I
abundant.
do both, but I'm abundant, I would say.
And now is it just Christopher or is it Christopher, like the European version?
However.
Okay, cool. I love it. 3 abundance, right? Tabby's probably getting the rest of the chats of all you guys typing in how abundant you are. Let me let you in on something, you guys, because I don't want you to be delusional too much. We're both. We're called human beings. That yin and the yang sign of balance, we're both. We're both human and spirits. We're fully spiritual, fully human. We are both. And it is, yeah, thank you, Tracy. You lean towards scarcity. Guess what? We all do. It's called gravity. Gravity just pulls you into scarcity. It's human nature to go into scarcity. A lot of people have trained themselves into a more frequent, abundant mindset, but it doesn't mean that their natural behavior. You guys, you know that babies choose violence. Babies choose scarcity. They choose to cry when they want something. This is how we start off, and we get programmed a different way. So I'm empowering you with the tool. It's a tool called I'm Both. And in any given time, you can choose to be one or the other. Sometimes I get in an argument with my wife, right? I'm being a real pain in the butt. We all know that it's me and not her. That's just real. And sometimes I'm just being grumpy and I'm stomping around the house and something's really upset or whatever. And she's like, man, what's wrong with you? And I say, you know what? I'm just in a really bad mood. I don't know what's going on, but I just want about 5 minutes where I choose to be in a bad mood and feel sorry for myself. And in about 5 minutes, I'm going to put on my shoes. I think you and I need to go for a walk. It'd be really good for me. And she's like, okay, well, if you want me to leave you alone, no, I need you to hold my hand and take me for a walk. I'm in a really bad mood. And in 5 minutes, I'm choosing to let it go. And I just stomp around the house for 5 minutes and I put on my shoes and then we get about 100 yards from our house and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm releasing it. I'm choosing. But I just needed a minute of choice. I just wanted to feel sorry for myself for just a minute. I was choosing it. I held on to it, but I gave myself 5 minutes and I'm releasing it. I'm choosing to be in an abundant mindset now. And you guys, you know what happens? The arguments with my wife, the resentments, all those things, my good moods versus bad moods, when I realize that they're all a choice, it's not that they don't come. I have bad days. I have bad thoughts. The devil creeps in, all those things. However, instead of lasting for a day, instead of lasting for a week and a month, sometimes they only last for 5 minutes because I have the permanent awareness that it's a choice. I have that tool in my tool belt now. And now I've given it to you. If you choose to keep it in your tool belt, you're going to be equipped with this choice. And even when you choose scarcity, that's okay. It's not right or wrong. We're not getting into morality right now. It's not right or wrong. However, I can't let you pretend that you're somehow a victim and not empowered to choose. It's okay if you choose to be a jerk for a few minutes because you're in a bad mood. That's okay, as long as you understand you are equipped with the tool called awareness and you have the power to choose abundant versus scarcity mindset. Got it? Couple of ahas around that. Anything right now would be great.
I had a friend who used to tell me whenever we would run into situations or whatever that didn't go the way they were supposed to, is it an opportunity or is it a setback?
Hey, Sarah, do we either win or we learn, right?
That's right.
You guys, you know what's cool about, yes, people like Josh Anderson, people like Sarah Stevens, people like Tabby, people like Rob Talbot, people like Gary Keller.
Amanda?
Gary Keller just said in one of the masterminds, and I saw my notes yesterday. Hey, Magnolia, we love you, but we either can't hear you or you're talking to someone else. Okay. Gary Keller said recently, he said, you know what, my persistence covers up my idiocracy. Because he chooses to just keep learning. He just chooses to stay focused on getting better. And he said, people think that means he's smarter than them. He goes, I'm not smarter. I'm actually dumber than most people. He said, my persistence, his choice to stay focused, covers up his idiocracy. We all think he's so brilliant. He's just persistent. He just makes the choice every day. And I love that, right? Because sometimes the devil on our shoulder can tell us we can't do what he can do because he's so smart. He's so leveraged. And that's just not the reality. We are all incredibly powerful. It's a choice. Okay, so we're getting into wealth building and we have 9 minutes left of material that we're going to cover in 31 minutes. So my question I have to you, and it's the old Robert Kiyosaki question. You guys, when we talk about wealth, I'll give you a short version. I read a book when I was a young man. I told you I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I was working at a grocery store. I was raised by the poor dad. My dad was a working class blue collar guy. He was middle management at a grocery store. My grandfather worked at a tire store. These are hardworking guys, and I'm so grateful that they taught me what hard work looks like. But the mindset that my patriarchs had taught me is that if you want something more for your family, you want to build something, you put your nose to the grindstone, you work harder and longer than anyone around you. And that was a great tool. However, they didn't teach me the tool that I learned in a book in my early 20s that I read from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You guys, I had an aha. I went to one of these conferences for Robert Kiyosaki, and it was the free, the free 3-day course, or the first day was free. You had to pay $2,500 for the other 3 days, right? I went to that and I had an aha, a way of thinking. And my aha was that these guys weren't any smarter than me. I got to meet with them and talk with them. And they had worse backgrounds than I did, let alone the same and so on, different. My aha was that these guys knew how to think. And I realized that at that time, like I learned that if you took the biggest thinkers in the world, if you took guys like Robert Kiyosaki and Warren Buffett and insert successful person here, right? If we took those people and we gave them plastic surgery and took away all their money and we planted them in any city in the world, we would come back 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from then. And you guys, what do you think the likelihood is they would have built wealth again? And if you didn't think that's true, you guys go watch on Discovery Channel or whatever it is. There's a show now called Undercover Billionaire where they do this. These guys are building $1 million companies in 90 days with zero resources. They give them like $1,000 and a pickup truck, and they make them anonymous, and they're doing it. It's not the resources, right? Resources are amazing, but Tony Robbins says the ultimate resource is resourcefulness. It's a way of thinking. So my question to you is something that Robert Kiyosaki asked us that really landed with me at one of those 3-day events. And he said, what's the definition of rich? What's the definition of a wealthy person? So I want a couple of answers here, you guys. How much money do you have to have in order to be wealthy? Couple of questions or answers, sorry. What do we got? What's a number?
To cover your liabilities. I love that.
Yeah. What's another number? What is rich? Oh, you guys are lucky we're not in a classroom. Oh, I'd be coming alongside you, be sitting next to people right now. I want at least 2 more. What do we got? I'm gonna let the silence do the heavy lifting here. What do we got? Equilibrium. I love that, Joy, or Aaron, sorry. Equilibrium plus, got it. You guys are on to something you've been reading. I like it. Okay, so you guys are getting where we're going with this. You guys have probably read the books. And the definition of wealthy is someone whose passive income, money they don't have to work for, outweighs their expenses. And when I say expenses, I don't just mean like the mandatory bills, but for this sake, when I say wealthy, what I'm describing is when we create a life by design, when I look at my life and say, this is what I want for my life, this is what fills my bucket. I want to fish all day, or I want to water ski 3 times a week, or I want to go, travel the world, or I want to sit up on one of these mountaintops on a foggy day and just meditate in a robe overlooking the valley. Like, God bless you. But whatever that life by design is, when your passive income can fund that life, we're wealthy. We're rich beyond our wildest dreams. And you're going to hear a lot of methodologies today, right? You guys, and for God bless you guys for chiming in. You guys have heard this stuff from different sources, whether it's Dave Ramsey. You guys are going to hear some similarities. I think you guys know who Dave Ramsey is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He might be a household name around here.
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully if you're paying attention. Whether it's Dave Ramsey, Tony Robbins, Gary Keller, the Bible, all these different sources for amazing human transformation tools, right? What we're talking about is truths. There are truths out there. There's laws, there's physics, there's just truths, there's absolutes in how this world works. And when we work in alignment with those truths, like when I just stand up and say, I don't care what you say, I refuse to believe that gravity is real. I don't care what you say. I refuse to acknowledge that the highway patrol is real. I'm going to drive as fast as I want when I want because I'm a grown man. And I refuse to acknowledge that these truths, that these laws, these absolutes are existing. My life gets a lot harder. I succumb to gravity. I succumb to the law, to the authority of those law enforcement, right? But when I work in alignment with them, these truths, whether it's Dave Ramsey, Gary Keller, you guys, we're tapping into truths here. We're tapping into the laws of physics of building wealth or building abundance for our life. And I know that sometimes our little devil tells us that this can't be true, this can't be real, it can't be this simple. Well, Diana Kokoska says, listen, success is simple. It's simple. It's just not easy. A washboard stomach, you guys, summer's coming up, right? A washboard stomach is simple. Eat kale, do sit-ups. But it's really hard. And so when something gets hard, our natural instinct, because we go into our scarcity mindset, right? Because we're human beings and we do both. We like to convince ourselves, we tell ourselves a lie that it's complicated, it's outside of my reach. I can't do that. That's something I can't do, because we don't want to acknowledge, we don't want to be vulnerable enough to just admit and confess that that's really hard. That's really hard. And I don't have the gumption, I don't have the grit to do something that hard for that long. That would make us feel not so great. So I'm not going to confess that. I'm going to pretend that that's outside of the laws of physics for me, and that's really complicated. I'm not smart enough. Blah, blah, blah. So when we think about rich, here's what I want you to think of when you hear the word millionaire, the millionaire real estate agent. You know what? $1 million may not be your path to wealth. That may not be what makes you rich. I want you to interrupt that word. And I want you to just replace words like that, like millions and rich. And I want you to just replace it with abundance, a life of abundance. That's what that looks like. When someone says, hey, don't you want to be a millionaire? What they're really asking you in their own little way, their narrow way of maybe speaking in that moment is, don't you want to live an abundant life where you spend every moment you can with your children and grandchildren and family on vacation? And you're like, you know what? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I want to spend as many hours as I can on my pontoon boat, bass fishing out there in whatever lake, whatever your abundance looks like. That's what they're asking you. That's what we're talking about here. Okay, so get your drunk monkey off your shoulder when he's trying to whisper in your ear right now and tell you, Rob's going to try to tell you, you got to make $10 million or $1 million. That's not what I'm saying. I didn't say that. I said, we're going to create a life by design. That abundant thinking is going to give us an abundant life. We're all capable of it. We have the power to do it. There's people around us that love us and are equipped enough to help us do that. People like Tabby, people like Sarah. These are amazing leaders that God has put in our presence to help us take a shortcut to our abundant life. And we're going to accept and receive that. We accept and receive that. Diana Kokoska, by the way, taught me that one time, because she gave me a question. She put her hand on her shoulder. Now, by the way, if you haven't met Diana Kokoska in person, she's about 5 foot nothing and 100 and nothing. Like, she's adorable. You could pick her up and put her in your pocket. Cutest little thing. Her energy, when she walks in the room, Sarah, am I lying right now? Tabby, am I lying? When that girl walks in the room, her energy is, she is 12 feet tall. There could be 10,000 people in that room, and you know when Elvis has entered the building. Yeah. Right? I mean, she speaks with gravity. And one time we were at an event and she touched me on the shoulder. She was anchoring. She touched me on the shoulder and she gave me a compliment. She was talking about something she appreciated about me. And I did what we all did. I went immediately to scarcity and I tried to reject her compliment by saying, oh, no. Oh gosh, no, I'm not that. I'm not that. You're amazing. You're amazing, right? And she taught me something. She said, you know what? Do you mind if I coach you? And I say, when Diana Kokoska says, do you mind if I coach you? By the way, the answer is yes. Yes, you may coach me, right? And she said, do you mind if I coach you? I said, absolutely. What can I learn? Tell me more. And she said, when someone gives you a gift, the polite thing to do is to receive that gift. It's not about matching. It's not about giving it back. She goes, you say thank you. When someone gives you a gift, the gift is really about that person giving it to you. It's about the giver. It's not about the receiver, right? She said, when someone gives you a gift, you say, thank you. I accept and receive your gift. I can't tell you enough how much it means to me that you would say that. I'm humble. Thank you. And that's it. Another tool in your tool belt. Now you got a screwdriver. You got a hammer, you got a saw, you got a screwdriver, right? We're working with tools here. We're building an abundant life, because rich and wealthy is just another word for saying abundant. Don't think about your bank account necessarily. However, We're going to get into this because Zig Ziglar says money's not everything. However, it ranks up there with oxygen. It ranks up there in oxygen in this world, right? I can't even use the bathroom. I can't even perform a human necessity, a physiological necessity at most places without spending money. It's a physiological need. I can't stop this from happening. And yet, what do they tell me? Customers only. Like, well, we're going to have a bad experience here. Money ranks up there with oxygen. All right, guys, we're going here. So the first thing we need to identify, 9 points, is what is the goal? Okay, you guys, what we're talking about your freedom number. The first point in building wealth for yourself is identifying your freedom number. And there's all kinds of exercises out there in the world that you can go through. This freedom number is a number that we've just been discussing. This is a number, a dollar, that will allow you to create abundance without working for it. Okay? Now, remember when I said you were going to not learn everything that you could ever possibly need to know in order to build the wealth in this 45 minutes and so on? This is one of those exercises where maybe all of you guys are going, oh my gosh, how do I do that? Where do I go? You guys, that is an excellent opportunity for a coach. Wink. One-on-one directive coaching, right? This is something that might take some of us weeks, months, years to develop. That's okay. As long as we're not someone that lives the rest of our life not knowing it. This is where a coach comes in. We're going to help you develop this, right? If any of you guys don't have a coach that can help you create the number that is your freedom number, let me introduce you to Tabby. Tabby is an abundant-minded thinking leader that's a part of our market center that would love to either work with you or refer you to someone that would be a great fit for working with you.
Absolutely.
Right? So this is, sometimes, Tabby, don't people think coaching is about learning and training? And they're like, well, I already know that, so I don't need a coach. And I say, listen, that's not what coaching is. Coaching is helping us think in a way that gets us what we want. And there's a reason why surgeons and doctors don't perform surgery on themselves.
That's right.
The best surgeon in the world would not operate on himself because he's emotionally attached to the outcome. Same thing with our goals in our life, you guys. You think we might be just a little emotionally attached to our outcome? Yeah, top athletes, business leaders, they all have coaches. Thank you, Andy. Very good point. That's interesting. And by the way, let me let you in on something. Many of these coaches cannot do what their athletes can do. They cannot do what their business partners can do. But they do have the innate ability to watch someone swing a golf club. And even though they cannot swing it as well as them, they can notice the micro adjustments that need to be made in order to have this person reach its fullest potential, its highest potential. And one degree of adjustment from that coach can have that person hit the longest drive that's ever been hit, even though the coach doesn't know how to do it. The coach has the ability to observe the 1%. Absolutely. You guys, here's a homework assignment. Go look up a video on YouTube. Write this down. I'm giving you a blessing right now. 212 degrees.
Yeah.
212 degrees. Go watch that video. You'll get what I'm saying right now. Okay? Real quick, who has seen a movie with Mark Wahlberg and John Goodman called The Gambler? You guys remember that movie? Anyone? One person?
Sort of.
Great movie.
A lot of head nods. Sort of.
Okay, great. In that movie, I've got my notes up so I can't see all of your faces. Thank you. In that movie, there's a great line, and I'm not going to owe Mo Anderson any culture dollars by quoting the line. But in that movie, there's a line where John Goodman is the older, loan shark, and he's telling this young gambler who is total degenerate, wins lots of money, loses lots of money, and John Goodman is giving him some big brother life advice. And he said, listen, let me just tell you, the next time you go on one of these winning streaks and you hit a number, the whole trick to all this is to get FU money. He said, FU money is when you've got enough money in the bank that you wake up in the morning, you don't want to go to work, you call your boss and say, guess what, FU, I'm not coming in. Right? Someone wakes up in the morning, you got an obligation, you want to go do something else, you tell them, FU, I'm doing what I want to do. The line is so great, you guys, if you remember the movie, right? It's like FU money is your freedom number. It's the number that allows you to live life on your terms, to live an abundant mindset, to live an abundant life. Okay. At the very end of the movie, of course, you know, the punchline is he gets in, he's driving down the road, and John Goodman pulls up in the car and he's like, hey man, you gotta help me out, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, you gotta, Mark Wahlberg turns to him, he turns and goes, F you, man. And he kind of rolls up the window and he smirks to himself and he's like, good for him. Good for him. He got it, right? He told me to F off, but he smirked to himself because he was like, good for that kid. He's got F you money. So when we talk about the goal here, we're talking about the FU money. We're talking about what is it that I can do that completely passively funds my life by design. I want you, your homework assignment is to find a coach. I can't do this in 40 minutes. Okay? You're going to learn how much, what that number is, how to grow it, all the mechanics of that. We can't learn that in 45 minutes. We couldn't learn that in a whole day. Although I would tell you this class is a lot better if we taught it in a whole day because we could dive in deeper. We still wouldn't learn it all. Okay, so you're going to establish your baseline. You're going to establish that number. So I want to ask you guys this. What is a goal? Real quick, because I'm here to challenge the way that you think. What is a goal? What does that mean, a goal? A goal, write this down because it's a way of thinking, okay? A goal is an intention. A goal is an intention that's in alignment with what I want. You guys, sometimes in life, we get so attached to outcomes, right? We get so attached. I watched this video of Kobe Bryant. If you're not a Laker fan, that's fine. You know, I forgive you, but I'm from Los Angeles and, you know, I'm a big Laker fan. I saw this quote the other day and he said, you know, Kobe was talking about goals and he said, most people don't ever set big goals for themselves because they're so afraid that they're going to fail. They're so afraid that if they put that out there in the world and they come up short, that everybody's going to see them. He's like, you got to let go of that. A goal is an intention. Let me help you with your drunk monkey right now, you guys. Do we reserve the right to change our mind? Absolutely. You know, when we were young, did we not have goals for what our life would look like and priorities and all these things that we saw for ourselves? And then maybe some of us got married and our priorities changed. Maybe some of us got married and then some of us had children and our priorities changed. What we wanted from life, we never thought we would let go of what we wanted. And guess what? It changed. We reserve the right to change our mind. Because now we're looking at this little baby and we're like, wow, I want to give this person now these things. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to give this person this thing an abundant life. And our priority has now changed. You guys, we reserve the right to change our mind. When you set a goal, it's not an absolute. You reserve the right to change your mind unless you don't. That's what a goal is. It's an intention. So let's let go of that way of thinking that says if we set a goal, well, we have to accomplish it, or it's a total embarrassment and it'll bring shame to the Talbot name. Of course not. It's an intention and I reserve the right to change my mind. But as long as that's what we want, then that's our intention. That's our goal. And we're going to be laser focused on it. And I'm going to let my coach know this is what I want. Hold me accountable. Okay. So when we talk about your baseline, we're getting into those numbers, right? That's the second piece of this. What are all those numbers? How much money do I need? What's my equilibrium? I think one of us said that, right? What does that freedom number look like? Okay, the third part of this is that we need to make a plan. Now, you guys, we have a goal, and now we need a plan. Now that we have an intention, a plan is a written strategy of step-by-step activities that need to be completed in order to reach my goal. Does that make sense? It's a written strategy of step-by-step activities, actions, performances. I don't just will it into existence. I speak it into existence. I have millions, right? I'm rich, I'm healthy, I'm strong. But it's a step-by-step activities that when completed, get me what I want. Okay, now let me let you in on something, you guys, because if you know the GPS, if you know the 411 and the one thing, you guys, I'm gonna disrupt a really big way of thinking. There's no such thing as business goals. I know that we talk about that a lot. I know it sounds crazy, and we write down personal goals and business goals, right? Now, Gary Keller might come and slap me around a little bit, but this is just one possibility. I believe that there's no such thing as business goals. A business, by definition, is used to create money. A business is for the purpose of profit. Okay. Now, profit is for the purpose of funding my life by design. So when I say there's no such thing as business goals, here's what I mean by that. When you set your goals with your coach, when you set your goals with your coach for someday, 5 year, 1 year, and then all the way to a 411 and a calendar and a calendar of daily events, okay? You're going to have priorities for personal and business. You guys, on the left-hand side, you have all your personal priorities, all your personal goals. That's what it's all about. There's my life by design. So when I work with Tabby, I say, these are what I want for my life. These are my personal goals. Here's my life of abundance, okay? And the obstacles between me and those things, like if I have an obstacle called, Tabby, I need a car to drive my family around, right? Because they require a car to get my 4 kids to where we're going. Although life's not about money. Money's not everything. However, a car costs money. And if I have a car-sized goal or a car-sized hole in my life, and I don't have the money to buy that car, money's what gets me that goal, okay? So the business goals that I have are the goals that I have for my life by design. They're personal goals that require money. Training to run a 5K is not a business goal. It's a personal goal because it does not require money, unless taking the 2 weeks vacation that I need to travel to that location where I can run that 5K of my dreams, and I don't have the savings in order to take the 2 weeks off, then that savings number just became a business goal. Does that make sense? That's what business is. It's about money that funds our life by design. Okay, so when we make a plan is a written strategy that has step-by-step activities that when performed, get us what we want. It's like Waze. We put in an address. The address is our intention, and it's recalculating everywhere, right? Siri's telling me, not this light, but the next light, make a left. It's the step-by-step activities that get me to where I'm going. Okay, so tighten up your belt, you guys. This is the fourth one. As we're building wealth and saving, it's the old Dave Ramsey, you guys. Let me let you in on something. The first $100,000, and I cannot emphasize this enough, the first $100,000 is the hardest. It really is. The first $100,000, you guys, is so hard, but that is kind of a magic number. It's not everybody's number, but I'm telling you, 80% rule. Yep. 80% rule. The 80% rule says we're going to have to work our asses off to get to $100,000 in some savings account. It's a tool. It's a leverage. It's a big hammer. We need not just a little hammer. We need a big hammer called the first $100,000, and we're going to have to work for it. Our money isn't making us money necessarily yet. We're not investing and so on. So that first $100,000, and as we're paying off debt and getting that first 100 grand, you guys, Dave Ramsey has a process there. Make the kids think they're next. Tighten your belt, save. Get that budget to a point that's realistic so you're saving. I want to see you guys on his Instagram with your little poster that says I paid off $32,000 in debt in 6 months. That's what we're talking about. By the way, I can't teach you everything in 45 minutes. Get a coach. Right? Like, we're going to have questions, but today's not the day. We got an hour. In fact, I got 5 minutes. And then he teaches us, by the way, build a moat around this. You know what building a moat around this means? It means putting some barriers between myself, putting myself in a position where I'm above reproach, where I've got barriers that I have to go through. You know, there's times in my life, right, where I know that maybe I need to go inside of a store that I shouldn't be buying things in or something, right? This would be an example. So building a moat around my discipline might not just be my mindset. I might say, I'm going to go in there and I'm only buying one thing and that's it. I'm not going to buy anything else, right? And that's one level of discipline. But another level of discipline, if I knew that I really had a weak spot for this store, whatever it is that sell, maybe it's a bakery, right? Maybe what I do is I put a moat around that where I give my credit card to Tabby and I'm like, here's my wallet, hold this. I'm going in there with $5 because I have to buy one thing. And I know if I have my wallet with me, the likelihood that I walk out with too much stuff is good. So here's my moat. Tabby, hold my wallet, right? Or you guys ever been out and we're having some fun with, friends and we're at family reunion. You say, you know what? I'm not even going to have a drink, not one drink. I'm not even going to have that one beer because I know I have to be up early tomorrow and I'm really committed to that. And they're like, it's just one beer. Hang out with us. Have one beer, just one drink. And you're like, you can handle one drink. And you say, you know what? Absolutely, I can. In fact, I probably wouldn't even feel one drink. However, I know that after one drink, the possibility of me wanting that second drink gets a little better. And when I have that second drink, I'm telling you, the third one's going to sound so good. So I'm just not going to have even that one drink. In fact, you know what? I think I just might skip dinner with you guys tonight because everyone's going to have just one drink. And I think I'll just eat in my room. And it's not that I don't want to have dinner. It's not that I just, don't want that one drink. I just know that if I go out to dinner, I might just have the one drink that leads to the second drink. So I'm just going to build a moat around myself. Right? This is what building a moat is looking like. It's accountability. It's having people that care enough about me and having some processes that protect myself to really be successful. Okay, we're building a moat around you guys. My savings account, I have called the BAT account, right? We have the Wendy account because that's my wife's name. And in the Wendy account, there's 3 bank accounts. We have at Chase. We got the Wendy account. We got Talbot Savings. And Talbot Savings is all the money that we save up as a family to buy couches and go on vacation, things like that. We all have access. Me and my wife have access to that money, right? We have a third account that we just keep as a reserve. I won't get into the bookkeeping side of it. But then I have these other accounts, okay? And my savings accounts are at banks and at organizations that I don't have access to. Like when I opened up those bank accounts, I went and talked to the bank manager and I said, if you ever see me walk in, don't give me a checkbook, don't send me statements, don't give me a debit card, don't give me online access. And if you ever see me walk in the door trying to make a withdrawal, punch me in the face 3 times before I'm allowed to. Throw me out 3 times on my butt, make me force my way in, make me give you a story, right? I want all these layers of accountability. And when that money, I have like my profit share that goes into a bank account every month that I never see the statements. When they come in, I rip it up. We don't even want to know. We just rip it up because that money is not our money. It's an investment money. These are moats that I've had to create for myself. Because if we peak, I might get a little excited. Okay, the only time I look at those statements is when I'm sitting down quarterly with my wealth manager and we're talking about how much more I'm investing in my future and where it's going. Then we look at statements only when I have the accountability of my wealth manager in front of me, because I might think it's a really good idea to send some of that extra money over to the Talbot savings and maybe buy myself something I haven't earned the right to buy just because I have the money. And I had to do this for myself because I know myself. I had to put these moats, these obstacles in between, right? I want to have to drive 25 miles away from my house to get to the bank, to walk inside the store. These are moats. Do not put all this money at the same Chase account that you have online access and pay all your bills with, because it's so easy to click on your app and send that money into your bank account. I could be in Vegas right now and say, don't worry, it's all I got now. Oh, $2,500 in my checking. Boom, we're back at the blackjack table, right? Create moats. Okay, number 5. Start investing with a focus on real estate, you guys. This is a tool. We have tools here in Profit Share. And I don't say this to brag or boast, you guys. From day one, I had a really smart person tell me, when you set up your Profit Share, put it into a bank account, right, that funds something. So at the very beginning, I didn't have a wealth manager coming into Keller Williams. So I had that money go immediately into an account that went immediately into a Roth IRA. Because I thought, if I'm only going to make a few $1,000s a year, I want to fund a retirement tool. $6,000 a year is not very much money when you're investing into a Roth, except when it's done completely passive through Profit Share. It was an amazing amount of money that created a compound effect. Later, I outfunded with Profit Share my Roth IRA. I had to get one for my wife because that was $12,000. When we went to get $25,000, I started putting that money into my Fidelity account, which then my wealth manager. You guys, I reinvested passive income. This is a strategy around what it is that my business allowed me to do. And I promise I'm only going to be a couple more minutes. We're going to go just a couple minutes and we'll get done with this. You guys, the most valuable tool you have in real estate, when I say focus on investing in real estate, what I don't mean is that because we're on the front lines of real estate, you guys have been equipped with all of this knowledge about your local markets, and you guys know what opportunities look like. You guys, I did my very first flip over in Laverne. I had an opportunity from someone that I knew in California, talking about God's hand in my life. A lady from California calls me not knowing anything and says, I've got a property that's just completely dilapidated. I need to sell it. It's back east somewhere. I got an investor that's offering me something. Would you just look at this offer? Just tell me if it's a good offer. I don't know what to do with it. You guys, it was in Laverne, Tennessee. I go, oh my gosh, I'll be there next week.
Oh,
Drove by the house. It was a great investment. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a $10,000 offer over your highest offer. Whatever you have, I'll pay $10,000 more. She said, well, I would just love to bless you with it. You're someone I know. Done, sold.
wow.
$160,000 was made on that property. Right now, this is what I'm telling you guys. It's not your money. It's not your license. That's what's going to make you money in investing in real estate at first. It's your frontline knowledge of things. It's the opportunity. You guys, if any of you on here don't think you have access to investors that will fund an amazing investment and make you a partner in it, you've just chosen the wrong thing to believe. Every single one of you guys know someone that if a great deal came along, you could ask them to put up the money and split the profits with you. They would do that in a second. If you don't think you know someone, my name is Rob Talbot. I'm an investor. And you call me or Sarah or Tabby or Josh Anderson or any of these other amazing, abundant, wealthy people, and you say, listen, I've got a great opportunity on a home that a client, that a friend or a neighbor or whatever came across, and I would love to invest. I just don't have the credit, the resources, whatever. What you do now, your ultimate resource is resourcefulness. You guys are the front lines of real estate, and I will partner with you. These people will partner with you in these transactions. We'll split the profits. That's what focusing on real estate means. Eventually, you'll earn the right to invest in multifamily properties and your own investment properties. We'll get there. But that's what focus on real estate means. Okay, learn the rules of money. This is the seventh. The learn the rules of money means that I'm going to read and learn. What you're doing today is powerful. You guys are learning. You're in an abundant mindset. You're getting better than you were yesterday. Even if just one thing I taught you, just one thing that was said, made you just a little more aware than you were yesterday, you are more abundant than you were yesterday. So we're going to get incredibly intentional about learning the rules of money, which means that we've got to learn about money. We need to pick up books that are about money. Reading 20 pages a day is 30 books a year. Having conversations with people, taking classes, going to weekend events, whatever it is, we're going to learn the rules about money because we're abundant mindsets. We are leaders. And by the way, if I had a coach, when I get a coach, Coach Tabby, make sure that I have a learning-based initiative, a learning-based strategy on my 411. Make sure that I'm being held accountable to my abundant growth. I start off every one of my coaching calls. You guys, the very first question is, Tabby, what did you learn this week and how are you teaching it to the people you love and care about? And if she doesn't have an answer, guess what? I've at least had the conversation. I've got her thinking as a leader. Oh, crap. I just lied to Rob that I learned something and taught something when I didn't. Maybe I should. It's a way of thinking. Guess what? 52 weeks straight. Hey, Tabby, what did you learn today? What are you teaching people? How are you growing the abundance of the world around you? Oh, let me think about that. Now we're getting somewhere. You're thinking. I love it.
Love it.
The eighth one, upgrade your 5, you guys. Upgrade your 5. There's a rule, there's a law of gravity, there's a physics rule that says you are the sum of the people around you. You are the sum of the parts around you, you guys. Okay, you hang out with 5 healthy people, 5 fit people, you will be the 6th. You hang out with 5 great mothers, 5 great fathers, 5 great husbands, you will be the 6th. You hang out with 5 big thinkers, you will be the 6th. I'll tell you what, you guys, hang out with me enough and I will make you have a hallucination called that you are an abundant thinker capable of anything. Let's hang out. It's an illusion. It's a hallucination. People will think we're crazy. We are. and we'll all be making them watch us do it, right? Upgrade your 5. You guys hang out with 5 millionaires, you will be the 6th. You guys, if you hang out with 5 dope heads, you hang out with 5 alcoholics, you hang out with 5 guys that cheat on their wives, even though you would never, you have too much integrity, but you just like playing cards with those guys. They're good old high school buddies. They're fun. We play basketball, we play cards, whatever. It's a good time. We have a few drinks and play spades. Hey, I love them too. But if that's my 5 and they're out there cheating, I'll tell you what, you will be the 6th. You guys, your 5 is powerful. Did I say break up with all your friends and never talk to them again? No, I did not. Did I say leave your wife? No, I did not. What I said is upgrade your 5. Ensure that you're looking around you, and the scariest thing that you could ever say to yourself is, I'm the most abundant thinker I know. I'm the wealthiest person I know. I'm the leader of my friends. Uh-oh. Upgrade your 5. We want as many occasions as possible where you look around and you say, wow, there's 6 people in the room, and the 5 men I'm looking at are better husbands and fathers than me. That's the room you want to be in. I'm looking around the room and I'm the poorest person in this room. I'm the smallest thinker in this room. That's the room you want to be in as frequently as you can. Coach Tabby, please hold me accountable to this. Let's create a plan, which is a written strategy. That's a set of activities, performances I do that when done consistently get me what I want, right? The 9th one, you guys, the 9th one is choose your hard. Choose your hard. Let me let you in on something, you guys. Life is freaking hard. Choose your hard. Okay, you guys, these homeless people over here in downtown, Warren Buffett, they've got hard things in their life. Warren Buffett has money problems. It's just the kind of money problems you want. These homeless people down the street that haven't eaten since yesterday, and their skin's crawling off their body because they're, they need nutrition and so on. They've got problems. It's just the kind of problems you don't want. Life is hard. There's a Japanese proverb and it says there's 2 pains in life. Write this down. This is a tool. I'm giving you another screwdriver. There's 2 pains in life. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret.
Love that.
There's 2 pains in life. It's an absolute. It's a law of physics. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You guys, our marriage is hard. Yeah. If any of you aren't married down here, let me tell you, a healthy and abundant, thriving marriage, it's hard. It's hard. And I can choose the life of abundance. I can choose to focus on solutions and disciplines, or I can live to feel the pain of regret. Should have stayed fitter when I was younger. Should have gone on vacation, right? The pain of regret. Should have saved more. Should have told my kids I loved them more while they're still in my house. Should have cuddled with them more. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Okay, you guys, I gave you nine wealth building focuses. I gave you some tools for your tool belt. And I started this off by saying I wasn't going to be able to teach you everything you need to know to build wealth, right? Unfortunately, April Fools. My intention, my goal was to teach you how to think, to plant a seed, the inception of just even one thought that could stay with you forever. Hopefully that's a thought of awareness, that you have the empowerment to choose to focus on your solutions to the problems. That was my intention, an abundant mindset, and the awareness to know that you're capable of both at any given time and any given moment for any given day. And we bounce back and forth, but it's a choice. But now I want to hear your ahas. I went 9 minutes over, 10 minutes over. Thank you for letting me go over.
Thank you.
What did we get?
The upgrade your 5 was definitely, and 9. Choose the 2 pains in life. Those are probably my 2 favorite.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer. I love that. By the way, you'll thank yourself more. Remember, you guys, Jennifer just made a declaration. Her brain just heard her say something and went, oh, that's what we learned? Got it. Lock it in. We learned that today.
Yep.
We
and
know
Monica had something. And then we've got to go because we're committed to start on time, end on time. Monica,
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, just to train my brain to think of opportunities as think of the setbacks as opportunities to grow, to learn, and to win, not to fall into that negative thinking. So
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tabby.
thank you, Rob. Anybody else? Any other ahas as I know you guys are headed to something else. And
thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Rob, for everything.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
send Tabby and Sarah a wealth building spreadsheet. They can share it with you. It's a spreadsheet on how you can build your freedom number and track your wealth building. We didn't have time for that. I'll send it to them. They'll send it to you.
Great. I love that. Thank you, Rob. We appreciate your energy.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right.
Thank you,
Bye.
Rob. Thank
See
you.
you again.